It's no secret that Brent Venables has some work to do with Oklahoma, but I think that after that first year, we kind of got all of the issues out of the way. Now we can take a step forward and we can progress towards where Venables wants this group to be. This is a team that finished 6-7. That's not what Oklahoma wanted when Lincoln Riley left, and that's not what they expect from this team. They expect a higher level of excellence, and now they're looking to get back to the top of the Big 12 for the final time. And that's going to help them when they transition to the SEC. We'll talk about 10 players that will help this year, but also looking forward to the future in the SEC. A player they added in the transfer portal, Rondo Bothroid from Wake Forest, a productive playmaker for the Demon Deacons with 31 tackles for loss, 15 and a half sacks. This was a team that was disruptive in terms of slowing down the run and creating tackles for loss. They finished fourth in the country, and that was one of the bright spots of this team. That especially the unit that is the defense that struggled for the most part, finished in the triple digits in a lot of statistical categories. And Rondell Bothroyd adds to a defensive line that should be once again very disruptive. Another guy is Jordan Kelly at defensive tackle, 6'4", 302 pounds, and he's just getting started. I think that he has another level that he can reach. And I think that I should say he's just getting started as a redshirt senior, but he is someone that I think could take a step forward. And that's he's just getting started in terms of how good he can be. He has another level that he can reach. And then when you put him next to Bothroyd and then also another guy in Reggie Grimes, you're looking at a really good group, one that again can help get that group up to speed and get them to be a disruptive group. And Grimes is another player like that. Stats really don't stand out because they had so many players that were disruptive, but 7.5 tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks, pretty solid. You're also looking at a bigger defensive end, 6'4", 274 pounds, but that's also the nature of Brent Venables' system. You look at what they've done at Clemson, and now you take it to Oklahoma. You're expecting different things, and it's not your typical defensive end that's maybe 250, 260 pounds. You have bigger defensive ends, but they can still be disruptive and they can still create a lot of havoc. That benefits the offensive line, an offensive line that's featured a number of talented players. Andrew Rame is the next in line of that great group. When you look at the position he plays, everyone talks about Creed Humphrey and what he was able to do. Andrew Rame's not going to be as talented as Creed Humphrey, but he's still a very talented player, someone who has a bright future, potentially in the NFL as well. And his return makes things really good for this offense, an offense that was really explosive under Jeff Lebby, and they're hoping that can continue in 2023. Javonte Barnes is also back at running back, and he will have a lot of talent facing him to challenge him for that starting spot. And he has the talent to be the starter. He can be an explosive weapon. This is a group that finished 10th in rushing last year. That was kind of surprising. I thought they'd be more of a passing team, but then again, the talent level behind Dylan Gabriel was not as great, and they took a step back when Gabriel went down, so they had to rely on that rushing tack a little bit more. But Javonte Barnes is a name to keep an eye on this year. The secondary is also a group that will be under the spotlight. This is a group that the defense finished 119th last year against the pass, and that's not going to cut it, especially for Brent Venables. He expects bigger things from him, and Billy Bowen has the opportunity to taken this group to another level. Bowman is absolutely ripped. He has put in the work in the weight room, and now he's hoping to translate that to the field. Last year had a good year, 3 interceptions, 60 tackles, very involved in this defense, and a veteran that has a ton of snaps under his belt that can help this group reach new heights. The secondary will benefit from facing a lot of talented players in practice, and it's just a matter of finding who's going to be that guy that's the go-to receiver. When you lose a guy like Marvin Mims, replacing him won't be easy, but Jalil Farook could be that guy. I really like what I've seen from him in limited action, 466 yards last year, 5 touchdowns. I saw the big playability in him. It's just a matter of, can he be Marvin Mims? Can he be that replacement? And can he be the go-to guy? Ethan Downs is another player to keep an eye on. This is a deep group that can really utilize a lot of different players. And Ethan Downs has a ton of power in his frame, and you saw the disruptiveness last year from him. 13 and a half tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. And a group, like I said, was very disruptive. One of the few highlights of this defense, but still a defense that returns plenty of talent, a defense that should be just fine this year and a defense that hopefully can take a step forward to help this team become better than 6-7. Another guy that will help, the leading tackler on the team, returns in Dannystzman. 6'4", 241 pounds, has a future in the NFL if he puts together another solid season. It's just a matter of if he wants to come back at the end of the year. 125 tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. He did a little bit of everything for this defense, and they're hoping that he can take this group to another level. Hopefully, this group can be much better because, again, the offense can only do so much. And that offense is led by former UCF transfer Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel proved that he is a good quarterback in college. He can be a good quarterback for Oklahoma, and it's just a matter of staying healthy. Even with his injuries, he threw for over 3,100 yards and 25 touchdowns. Now, imagine if he played the full year. Imagine he played all year. Now you're looking at a team that suddenly becomes extremely dangerous. And that's assuming you obviously find someone like Farook. Maybe you get Austin Stogner more involved. Maybe you get Andrew Anthony from Michigan involved. There's a lot of talent that can be utilized. It's just a matter of doing that. I will say the one thing that's different this year is that if Dillon Gabriel goes down, Jackson Arnold appears to be better than what they had in 2022. So maybe an injury to Dillon Gabriel isn't as devastating as it was last year. Oklahoma has the talent still. Now they're hoping that they can have a good year before they get back into the SEC, or go, I should say, go into the SEC. They can get back to the top of the Big 12. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at some momentum heading into a bigger conference.